This is a Maverick Podcast Network production.
Terrance P. Elmore, back on the podcast. Well, it's been a minute, man.
Yeah, it's been a real good minute, man.
We've been busy with the barbecue podcast and content and stuff. If you've been living under a rock, haven't listened to the show, welcome. First of all, it's the podcast that the world didn't realize it needed, but damn it, I'm glad you're here. And Terrance P. Elmore from the Brown Sugar Cafe, T-Dub Barbecue. How you doing, man?
Man, doing all right, man. It's been a very interesting couple of weeks, but other than that, I'm doing all right, man.
Yeah, the world would throw you some zingers, won't they?
Oh yeah,
yeah. But there's a lot going on in the world. We're here to talk about movies, so hey, let's have some fun. Now, so the last time we talked, what movie were we talking about then? I feel like it might have been the Batman. No,
no, it was something after that. Was it something that we
Strange?
both saw? Might have been Doctor Strange.
I don't know. But there's a few movies that we saw recently, and movie watching is back at full effect. Going back to the theater. Still hoping that stuff comes to streaming, but it doesn't. Yeah. The nachos are still cold at the movie theater for whatever reason. Still dealing with that. But we got 3 movies and maybe some other stuff we want to talk about. So let's start off with something real quick. Black Adam.
Yes.
Let's start off with that. All right. The Black Adam. Now, all right. When I first saw the trailer to this, I think it was during the Super Bowl.
That's the first time I saw it, yeah.
I was like, I didn't like Shazam.
Didn't
like
either.
it.
Nah, I didn't either.
I fell asleep on it. Actually, I fell asleep on it every time I watch it. It's a good nap movie. So I knew the backstory a little bit of Black Adam. Kind of the same thing, just a darker character, literally. Mm-hmm. And I saw The Rock on there. I was like, oh man, I gotta try. But it's DC, damn it. I wasn't sure how it was going to go. How'd you feel when you first saw the trailer to this movie? Were you like excited? Were you like, I'm going to get my ticket as soon as they put it on sale?
I was excited. I saw The Rock, so I'm like, this has to be good. I didn't know the whole story with the backstory with Shazam. Cause like with DC, I'm just with the main characters, man. The
Right.
I'm not Spider-Man. Batman, Superman.
Those are right. He's fading away quickly.
Wonder Woman.
That guy.
Yeah.
Oh God, don't no.
But
that last movie, Jesus.
Man, we don't have enough time to talk about how bad that one was. But I was excited, man. I'm a fan of as he calls himself now and everybody else, DJ. I'm a fan. Anytime he's in the movie, I'm going to go see it.
Yeah,
so I was excited, and then it looked so dope, man. Because the way they presented him to us, it was so. It was tough, man. He has his black suit on, he has his hood, and it's just like, who is this guy? And then he's not saying anything.
Strong silent type.
Yeah, he just
pick things up and I put them down.
Yeah. So I was like, yeah, I'm in. I'm all in for this.
Yeah, I was ready too, man. Yeah, that the not talking a lot, just the smolder, from Jumanji, you knew about the smolder. I didn't know about a smolder until Jumanji. And he had him hit him with the smolder. Give him the people's eyebrow and stuff. I was ready. But I heard a whole bunch of bad reviews. Here's the thing about people talking about movies and you feeding into the BS. People, look, we talk about movies. We try not to talk about them like we like some high-strung movie critics. Just fans, just enjoying the shit, just talking. These people out here just like, well, this didn't work with that, and blah blah blah. Yeah. I'm like, well, I didn't know much about the comic character, but you could at least did a little bit of homework before you started to trash this thing because it was a little accurate. Was pretty cool. So we kind of held off from going. Now, when did you go? Did you go early on as soon as it came out?
We went, the Tuesday. I think the Tuesday after it came out.
Yeah, that was, yeah. So you wait till, I wonder if the crowds were like big. Because I heard it grossed a lot of money and it kind of saved DC from whatever the hell trajectory it was going down. So what was the movie packed when you went?
Nah, it was the usual Tuesday crowd. It was nobody. It was like maybe 4 people on the row because you always get like the seats in the corner. We do RPX and the seat in the corner at the top. So and it was a couple of people down below. It might have been more kids than adults. You know,
Ooh,
adults brought the kids. You know, so
yeah, because they thought it was going to be nice and jolly.
Yeah. It was a little dark, but it was it was pretty decent, man. It wasn't you know anything too crazy. We had a lot of space, so I would say it was normal for a Tuesday. Yeah.
We went large format like you, AMC Dolby Cinema. We sit in like it's so bad. So these like sections in this row for people that accompany those in wheelchairs.
Okay,
we don't ever see them. I take that back. We saw once in the how was it about 10 plus years that we've been going to this theater. Only seeing a wheelchair bound person there once. So we usually get the centermost seats, recline and everything, man. And there was like 3 people in the theater. So even though my nachos were cold, I felt like I was, I was in a nice environment where I don't have to worry about people like just walking past me and stuff like that. So
yeah,
we was ready, man. We was ready. In spite of all that, when you texted me and you gave your sign off, I was like, hey, bro, we gotta go. We gotta at least try for Dwayne. DJ needs some love, you know what I mean? At least, hey, we tried. I seen many films from The Rock. Not all of them hit, but you gotta at least try.
Mm-hmm.
Skyscraper, still trying to figure out why I bought that, but it was for the greater good.
It was cool. It was cool. It was cool.
Yeah, that leg, that prosthetic boy.
Yeah. I was trying to figure out why. I mean, it was like, so y'all couldn't get somebody with a real prosthetic leg to play this person? I mean,
yeah.
But hey.
Yeah. But speaking of that, I like how they didn't. I don't want to say whitewash, even though I did, but I like how they had a person of color. And he's part Samoan, part black, so he's not Egyptian, like, he didn't grow up in that area, but at least it was a person of color that was playing it. I like the origin story that they had. It didn't feel like they went too detailed. It was high in action the whole time for me, and I was like glued to the screen. Mm-hmm. It was almost like, is this a DC movie?
Yeah.
What the hell's going on here, man? I don't understand what's going on. This is not DC. This can't be DC. It's too much good going on.
Yeah, even with the Justice Society, I didn't think they were going to be too like good, but all of them were good too.
No, not all of them.
I liked them all, and I liked I can't.
You like Wonder Woman?
How to pronounce his name?
You like Wonder Woman?
Huh?
You like Wonder Woman?
Wonder Woman?
Yeah, you like Wonder Woman? Did you?
All of the Justice Society that were there.
Oh, I didn't hear you say that. My bad. Oh, my bad.
Yeah, Justice Society that was in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
they were. But I did like. Well, speaking of Wonder Woman, I did like Wonder Woman the movie. It was
The
pretty
second
good.
one?
Heck no, the first
That's
one.
what I'm talking about. That's the one I'm
The
talking
first
about.
one.
The first one was okay.
Yeah,
The
I
second one was
think it had
no
a lot
way.
of elements to it, man. That was pretty dope. I think that was their best movie to date. Even though The Man of Steel is my favorite, I think Wonder Woman, how it was done to that date, I think that was DC's best movie.
How about with this one in the mix with Black Adam? How does that kind of rank with those movies that you just mentioned?
That's a good question. I think I would definitely put Black Adam in maybe top 5.
Ooh, top 5. Okay.
I'm thinking because Justice League, the Snyder Cut. And that's, like I said, my favorite is Man of Steel. So that's 2. The first Wonder Woman.
You really like the first Wonder Woman.
Yeah, man. I like how they just did the origin story, man. How they started her from she was a child all the way through, and then the action when they went to war, and when she first just said, "Bump this, you got to help these people,"
Right.
and then it just went. And even the fight scene at the end, especially when we thought old boy was really the villain, but he wasn't. He was just souped up on that stuff. I thought that was done pretty well. So
That's true.
yeah, I really enjoyed it. But yeah, so that's 3. So Black Adam, yeah. Suicide Squad, the second one.
Man, this not the first one.
Yeah. The first one was cool, but compared to I like the second one better.
We were there for the first one for Will Smith. It wasn't enough. Sorry.
I didn't see it in the theater, so
we did.
Yeah,
glad
maybe
you
that's
didn't.
why it was cool, for me, because I just saw it.
Did y'all get to the point?
Yeah, like was it Birds of Prey? So glad I didn't see that in the theater.
No, we didn't see. No.
Yeah, that first.
I bought it though. Just as bad.
Yeah, it was too. I don't know. I mean, that's what we should expect from Harley Quinn, but it was a little too jokey for me. It just had too many little pop out cartoon comic book moments, and I was just like,
Yeah. So Black Adam to me, let me see. I don't want to say it's my. I don't know where to rank it, but it's there with high enough hope for future movies from DC, if that makes sense. So
yeah, it does make sense. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Henry Cavill wasn't probably going to come back unless The Rock really put in the good word for that man to come back, as he alluded to later after the movie was released, because he was on The Witcher, and from what the backstory, what I heard is Dwayne Johnson did a lot of behind the scenes coursing to get the cast members in. So he had a lot of hands in the cast and how the storyline was actually molded to do these quick backstories of character development and all that. And what he wanted to do is kind of bring Henry Cavill back, because at some point, I guess in the comics, of course, they run into each other. So, I mean, you can't just have Superman just doing this like these BS stuff like it used to be old school. You need these powerful people that he goes against, the adversaries, the allies, or whatever.
Yep.
And what Dwayne Johnson was saying is the hierarchy of power has changed in the DC universe. Technically, it kind of has, because they're focusing on his character now and kind of maybe trying to do what the MCU did with was it Kevin Feige is at the head of all that stuff. So maybe they got a Kevin Feige like person to move all these pieces around and push what they call a canon storyline, make sure that things make sense, because it was all over the place with DC. You couldn't figure out, like, okay, why did you do this? How does this fit into the big story? Whatever, I'll just watch it. And it was all over the place. They had all these different versions and universes of the comics.
Yeah.
People don't understand all that stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I like the movie for what it did for DC potentially.
I didn't even think about that. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a very good setup.
Just think about what were they doing?
Yeah.
They had some flops, man. Even with the good movies, they were polarizing. Like the Suicide Squad, you either loved that movie or you freaking hated it.
Yeah.
There was no in the middle. There was like, what's up with that starfish? I don't know. What's up with the shark? I don't know. That's Sylvester Stallone. Leave me alone. Just watching a movie. What's the weasel? The weasel can't swim, man. I don't know what they were trying to feel their way through. They were trying to be Marvel, but they couldn't get the talent to make the Marvel chemistry work. Mm-hmm. I don't know if this was that, but it feels like they got a little bit of their footing with this movie.
Yeah. Because, I mean, so the first Suicide Squad, I didn't like the storyline. Like, this is the big thing. This lady tapped into a witch, and now she's tapping into her brother, and now they're trying to take over everything. It's like, so this is the big plot of the movie.
Yeah, and they had the mummy out.
It's like, why did y'all
that
even,
time?
Yeah, why did you even? How did this even happen? How did you not expect this to happen with this witch thing? I mean, it was just dumb. Like, you had to see this coming.
And the dude that, like, the Spanish guy that can catch flames, I was like, man, if you hurry your punk ass up and just burn her, which he did in the end, I'm like, come on, man. The whole movie was you just getting the nerve to fight?
Yeah.
Nah.
It's like the way they did it was a movie that it probably shouldn't have been another one or two movies before it to kind of give us some more backstory about the people, and, you know, something else. It's like something was missing, the way they just dumped everything in, and this is like the big mission. And then now it's like, okay, thank y'all. So we'll call on y'all again. Probably never, because we probably won't ever see any of these characters again except for Harley Quinn. And when we saw her in the next Suicide Squad, which was, I'm still confused about that. It's like, it's a whole separate movie, but then it's not.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
No, it's like reboot with just a different word.
Yeah.
Like just one word. All right, cool. Yeah, people won't get confused. But how do you think about the Suicide Squad? I hated it. Which one? What do you mean, which one?
Right.
There's two? What, it was like an old one and a new one? No, a few years apart. Same people mostly, kind of?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, all right, yeah. That all you guys say is, hey, is that the one with Will Smith or the Weasel?
I was about to say Will Smith or Idris, but yeah.
See, I forgot Idris was in there, man. Man, yeah, and he was a big part of. That was a good cast. It was a really good cast. Yeah. I'm glad they killed Pete Davidson early, but that was a good.
Right.
I'm like, oh, all right, let's move on. That's great. Oh, everybody's happy now. You got to kill Pete. Before Kanye wanted to kill Pete, they offed his head. So they talk about like a sequel to this. I'm interested to see if they succeed or screw the pooch with it. It could go either way with these guys, you know.
Yeah.
See how Wonder Woman went.
I'm just, like, some movies I don't know about, like, who the directors and the producers are, but it just seemed like whoever created the second one just might have had like some secret animosity towards women. Because how do you take how do you take
a strong,
literally strong woman and where she's just can't get over her dead boyfriend, and then the other woman, as you pointed out in one of our other podcasts, she's upset because she can't get a date.
It's like they took the rest of the Harvey Weinstein people that was left after the Me Too. It was like, hey, before you finish your exile, come and do this for me real quick.
It didn't. I mean, yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, she was.
And
thirsty,
then they put it in the 80s, and then they really sold that 80s cheesiness, but not in a good way.
It was not in a good way.
Not in a good way.
Stranger Things does 80s in
very
a good
well.
way.
Very well.
That movie made me like, I'm glad we moved past the 80s. Let's not go back there. What was that? Ew. I don't want to do that no more. I hate that song now. Oh, well, you see those socks with the pulled up and the rim with the colors?
Yeah.
I don't do that no more. Nope. They almost had me go back and look through the whole list of 80s cartoons, and I'm like, I gotta throw some of y'all out of my memory because the 80s was not as good as I remember. They better not ever do that again, man.
Yeah. I think they'll do better with this. Since they're coming out with a Shazam 2, that actually, the trailer looks like it's actually better than the first one, which isn't hard to do. But I think I don't think they'll mess this one up, especially if they're introducing Superman into it.
I don't think they'll mess it up. The thing is, will we care? Like, Shazam isn't a bad movie. Like the first one, it's not a bad movie. I just don't care.
Yeah.
It's like a Captain Marvel. That's not a bad movie. I just don't care. I fall asleep on it. It translates to me hating it because I can't remember what the hell's going on.
Yeah, I think they did Captain Marvel a little too late. Probably should have introduced her character earlier, but hey.
Yeah, but yeah. Well, so speaking of Marvel, this is a great transition. DC, we hope you make it. But we are here mainly to talk about Black Panther 2. Man, where do we start with this?
Yeah, spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. The movie was very it was very, very good. It had some really heavy parts.
Did it? It opened up heavy, man.
Dog. So we went Thursday, which is, before it officially came out or whatever. First time being to a movie opening night or night before in a long time. It's a lot of people in the theater, and I was like, Dad. But I just didn't want to wait. I was like, no, come on, we going
Thursday. Forever.
We
do it.
going Thursday night. So,
wait, how late now?
It was 7:50, the 7:50 show.
Okay, that wasn't bad.
So it was a good bit of people in there. First time in years we've been around that many people in the movie. So it's just like, oh gosh. And it was a lot of talking, a lot of walking around before the movie started. I'm just like, oh gosh. And they had this little boy. He was bouncing around like little boys do in the chair. And the chair just was rocking back and forth. I was like, this is going to be fun. And this is going to be fun. It was just a lot going on. But when it started,
man,
and you saw Shuri trying to do something to figure out, and then it clicks what she's doing, there was a dead silence in the whole theater. And usually when people are revved up like that in the movie, they don't calm down until like a couple of minutes after the movie starts. Right. But when that started, it was a complete silence. I mean, you didn't hear anybody move.
No.
And it was like, wow, this is how y'all going to start the movie off?
That was rough, man.
It was.
I barely made, my eyes was burning.
Yeah, it was.
I looked over at April. I had to do this motion. I'm good.
What? It was because it wasn't only a character, but an actual person.
Yeah, man.
And so, Chadwick, and I'm gonna go ahead and apologize now because I actually felt some type of way when he was playing all these different roles. Like, I was like, so y'all...
Oh, you mean the historic black role?
Yeah, I'm like, y'all couldn't find no other black person to do this? But now I understand that he wasn't going to be here long. And so he had the opportunity to play those roles. And that was the design. Like, he was supposed to do those roles because he wasn't going to be here long enough to do anything else. And I was just like, man... Because I was sitting there, I'm like, dang, so James Brown, Thurgood Marshall, Jackie Robinson, I was just like, so it's just nobody else, but apparently there wasn't.
He nailed every last one of them.
Every last one of them. Every last one of them. So and then his stuff off screen and just the type of person he was and just all of that, you thinking about all of that stuff, man. And then it's like, because, which was the reason why it was so hard for them to say, like, we're going to recast, because to children, Chadwick was the Black Panther. Because when kids see superheroes and stuff, they see the actor, and that's the person.
That's it. Yeah.
So it, with all of that, it was just like, wow. And it was just, I was like, dang, man. And then the funeral, it was beautiful, but it was at the same time, it was like, this is a funeral.
Oh man.
We go from that to a funeral. And then when it panned to his picture, I was just like,
right? Oh, you can hear a pin drop, I swear.
Yeah.
It felt like you were at a funeral for a moment.
It did.
It was like, it was rough, man. I was like, all right, the emotions that we went through when he did pass, all that, and how we, as like people globally were talking about this guy, as you were saying, he was synonymous with his character, especially this one. This one was it. The kids saw Black Panther as Chadwick and Chadwick as Black Panther. They call him T'Challa. You look at him, even on when they show him on TV now, and you're like, man, he embodied that so much. We thought that an actor could not embody a character more than they could when Robert Downey Jr. played Iron Man.
Right. That's a
good
example.
Hold my beer.
Yeah.
Dude said, hold my beer. I got this. And every time you look at the damn TV when they show him, you're like, T'Challa, man.
Yeah.
Man, that's T'Challa. It was, dude, it was rough. It's like you knew him.
Yeah, it was. And it is so, the movie was very well done, I have to say.
Very well.
The route they went with it, the part that they did stick with was like the comics where Shuri did have to become the Black Panther.
Right.
But let's talk about, what's it, Namor?
Oh, man.
Dog.
So I didn't know him as an actor because I didn't watch Narcos. I heard he was from Narcos. I never watched that.
Oh, okay. That's why you look familiar. Got it. Okay.
And man, they did his character good. So I knew a little bit about Namor from the commentary I watch on YouTube. Because I'm not going to read all the damn comics. They got YouTube for that now. And the way that they were talking about how they were going to portray his character, I'm like, this is interesting. I want to see how this happens. His backstory, man.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm on your side, man. Hold on, I'm on your side. Hold on, but don't kill people, man. Don't kill people.
Yeah.
Why does the ethnics have to kill the ethnics? Hold on, let's get together. Let's come together. We ain't got to be like this. And the way that they described how he gave himself Namor. Oh, April looked at me, was like, I like that shit. I was like, that's dope.
Yeah, I was not prepared because for one, I didn't. I was after that first trailer, I didn't watch any more trailers because I wanted to kind of have like that surprise element with like the fight scenes and all the different things.
Right,
but man, and his people, those three, how they rolled up,
boy.
That fight on the bridge,
boy. Man,
I was
there
like,
was a good fight scenes in this movie. Because from the trailers, I was like, okay, we're going to get a car chase in the nighttime, and it was going to lead to a bigger fight on the bridge.
Man,
yeah, it was good. And the way they did the callbacks to like the people, I can't remember her name, Michonne. Well, I can't remember her name in there. But
I can't remember. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
The way that they call back to her antagonist and going back and forth throughout the movie, that was pretty dope.
Yeah, man, it was like Warrior. We call each other out like, "Hey, I'm looking for you," because I like when movies have those warriors in movies and they fight somebody who's really good. It's like they feed off that because like when he knocked her spear out her head, he slid it back to her like, nah, I don't want this easy. I want you to come at me with all you got like you've been doing.
So do you watch anime?
I haven't in a long time, but I used to.
Dragon Ball Z.
Oh yeah.
So when that little thing was happening, April reminded me of something because she was like, "Oh, he acting like he ain't had a good fight in a long time. He ready." I was like, "Oh, so he acting like Goku now." Yeah. He's like, "You couldn't kill him. Well, let's have some fun."
Yeah.
That never turns out well when you do that, by the way.
Yeah.
Man,
but that's like
that was good.
That's like their respect of warriors, man. It's like, they recognize somebody who's a true warrior and they want a fair fight. They don't want to take advantage. They're like, I don't want to cheat. I want you to come at me with your also, because their biggest thing is if I die in the battle, that's cool.
Yes.
Don't have me, death. Bleed out and go home. It's just like I got to die in battle.
Yeah, you
it's
don't
like
want to come home
honor.
and be like,
you
don't want to come home and you like, I lost. Then be like, oh, you punk.
Right. So I like the movies, man. It's like, okay, let's go.
And they went. Damn, they went.
Yeah. I was not expecting that. That was an intense fight scene.
Angela Bassett.
She has to win. It was several parts in that movie where she has to win an Oscar, man.
I haven't seen Angela Bassett go that hard in a role since Tina Turner. I ain't gonna lie. It's been a minute. She's played she played characters. Yeah, sure, but she ain't went that hard. Like you didn't. It was like, all right, you see Angela Bassett play this role, play this role, play this role. I watch 911 all the time. It's Angela Bassett. You see, Stella got a groove back. She was just chilling. It wasn't like, but her acting prowess. She reminded you of who she is.
Yeah.
And man, she owned the screen. She was like, y'all better know my name.
Yeah, both movies, but this movie, I think everybody did an excellent job with their acting.
Everybody did.
I feel like it was because Chadwick died. It was to honor him. Like, you're not here with us anymore, so we want to make you proud. We're gonna, even though we are really good actors and actresses, we're gonna do our very best. We're gonna give it our all because you're not here. A lot of that is like, I think it was like raw emotion too, with just him not being there. I'm pretty sure if we hear in the interviews, they tapped into that with some of them scenes.
They did, yeah. I've listened to some of them before we actually went. So they worked really, 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 really closely with the family throughout the movie. Because what they didn't want to do is they didn't want to do an injustice of how they did a tribute to Chadwick. The whole movie was at the foundation of it, not just a movie, not a sequel.
Right.
It was paying tribute to Chadwick and telling a comic book story along the way to set up things for future movies. They had a fiduciary responsibility, but at the end of the day, they wanted to make sure everybody and they mama was happy with how they put in work. And, you know, like you were saying, everybody came with it. What you just, when you're watching a movie like that and you kind of vegging out a little bit with the action and the storyline, you kind of get distracted about the aesthetics that they put in there. Like the raw emotion, like you were saying, came through. Like they may not have been that level of an actor before, and they may not ever return to some of the performances that they put. Like Shuri, I don't know. Could she do that again? I hope so. But God damn it, she put in everything.
Yeah.
What's her name? Lupita? Did I say it right?
Yeah, Lupita.
Yeah, man, I was like, damn, all right, you really miss her. And I think in real life they were her and Chadwick were close. Yeah. So you kind of when she was telling her story, like she couldn't deal with certain things. She had to go away and stuff like that. She couldn't go to the funeral and whatnot. She had to deal with certain things. I mean, that's real, you know. And little spoiler, there was another reason too, but how Angela Bassett's character went to go see her because, you know, they needed to talk and how that interaction went and the embracing and all that. All that in the midst of the explosions, the action, the kicking and all that stuff, man. Now I can't remember. I'm really bad at remember people's names, but the big guy, he's the leader of the tribe at the top of the mountain.
Yeah, I know you're talking about. I can't remember his name either.
Yes,
and I probably remembered after we stopped recording.
Always, right? But he stepped up too. I'm like, I'm glad they gave you more lines.
I'm glad too. I liked him in Us. So I saw him in a different role. And I read some little stuff about him. So he's an actor. So, you know, he's talented. So I'm glad we were able to actually see that. I want to say he did theater. Don't quote me on that, but I want to say he did theater.
Maybe he was in Hamilton. I didn't finish it,
but he stepped in, and even saying, "I promise your brother that I will make sure that you're okay." He's more active now in the council meetings and all that stuff, because in the first movie he was like, y'all don't come up here, y'all don't mess with us, y'all don't rock with us, so we don't rock with y'all.
Right.
But after everything happened and then Avengers, Infinity War, they had the war at Wakanda.
Right.
So
yep.
He was all hands on then, and then it's like, okay, I gotta make sure you're good. I see what place you're in, and I know you're not listening to everybody else because you think they're old and their ways are old and tired. So I'm gonna talk to you because hey, you listen to me a little bit,
right?
So I like the role he played. He stepped in and he was like that big brother to her. He was like, hey, I see what you're going through. You need to handle that.
Yeah,
because she was angry, dog, and rightfully so. Really, because look in her position. Brilliant scientist, can fix anything, fix anybody. But because they didn't have that herb, because Killmonger burned them all up, the one person she couldn't save was her brother.
And going back to how tightly they want to kind of reflect life into it, they hinted on the fact that also T'Challa was hiding his illness. You know,
yeah.
If they could have got too early, he was, yeah. I mean, when they kept hitting on that, I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
They really, 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 really took their time with that.
They did. And and when the queen stood out and she stood at that window, like, you think you supposed to scare me? Cause you know, and then she stood in front of that girl like, I'm not going to let nothing happen to this child. We brought her here to protect her, and I'm going to protect her from you.
Yeah.
Like, that whole thing was just how she was willing to sacrifice herself to make sure that this girl was okay, because she was a child and they wanted to kill her. And she was like, no. That part was...
I liked her character, though.
Oh, yeah.
She's the new Iron Man in the MCU. That was a pretty dope suit put together real quick.
It was, yeah.
Kicking ass with that thing, man. I tell you, the other thing, man, even Bilbo Baggins, Bilbo was over there trying to be secretive and stuff with his ex-wife, knowing that she's gonna find out and tap everything.
Yeah,
you come to the scene, dog. You came to the scene, and the boy got everything taped off and all this, and they had something right by the beads.
It was
right?
it was something that was covering it a little bit, just enough so he could see it.
It was like a white paper or something. Somebody put that there. They saw it. Why are you picking that up? That giveaway, man.
Yeah, they exploited his relationship with the Wakandans.
Yeah,
like, if we get him here, we'll find out, because they like him.
But the other part of the storyline, I'm glad you said that, is they're exploiting the dynamic of how colonizers, I ain't gonna say who you are, colonizers come in and cause discord between two people that didn't have any problem before, and then you cause them to fight, and in that chaos you draw whatever resources out of them that you need. They were there for
the vibranium,
the vibranium, and man, you're like, all right, you know that the whole story of Wakanda and how they want to get into Wakanda, all that is a depiction of how colonizers have gone into Africa and drained it of its resources, and how the people tried to protect their country from the outside world, because they don't want to end up like losing everything.
Right.
Yeah, man. And Namor's character, again, the way that it intertwined, I guess he was kind of playing a version of Icarus with the wings on his heels and all that stuff. The power that he had, the reason why he wanted to change things. He's so angry, and how people kind of they fed off of that. Both sides did, for their own for their own intent. But yeah, I mean,
that was the cool thing about it. That they both were trying to protect their people. And Namor was like, hey, we were over here minding our business, and if it wasn't for your brother letting the world know what y'all have, they wouldn't even been over here looking for it.
Cause and effect, right?
So it's like, y'all either side with us, or we just gonna take y'all out and take everybody else out.
That's a dynamic that a lot of countries have to make.
But then he was so. What I liked about his character too is he was compassionate, but in a way to where if my people are put at risk, then I don't care who you are.
Right.
That's
the leader.
Yeah, that's
You
just
got to
it.
be like that.
I mean, I'm gonna talk to you because I'm civilized. You know, you're a princess, you're royalty. So we're gonna have this conversation, and I'm gonna give you a chance. I'm gonna talk to you. You know, see, I'm gonna give you my mother's bracelet. You know, we're gonna hang out. We're gonna talk. I'm gonna show you what I'm trying to protect because maybe you understand.
Yeah, man. What do you think this does for the MCU? This movie, what does it mean?
I think it puts a lot of pressure on the next Ant-Man. First of all,
shout out to homeboy from Lovecraft Country playing Kang the Conqueror. By the way, shout out.
Yes,
to
Jonathan Majors. He's an outstanding.
Jonathan Majors.
Yeah.
Yes,
I love him. He's an outstanding actor, man. Ever since I saw him in The Last Black Man in San Francisco, I have been a fan of his.
Yes, sir.
But
so good.
I think it puts a lot of pressure on the next Ant-Man.
Good, because it needs pressure.
It has to be. It's a good setup. I wish something else was coming out next, but I think Ant-Man is the next thing.
I think so.
But yeah, so it puts a lot of pressure on that. It's a very good follow up to Doctor Strange. It's a very good. This really sets Marvel up heavily, man. Like y'all really have to. Y'all can't drop the ball.
Yeah, it might be the same response that they had after the first one.
Yeah,
they had to step the game up.
Like you have to. I mean,
can't go Thor on there,
right? Like, which I'm so glad Thor came out before, and so this is.
Yeah, for their sake.
I mean, this movie was very well done. It didn't even feel like a comic book movie. Aside from the other stuff, but I mean, it was a cinematic masterpiece. It was very well thought out. It was beautiful. It had a great storyline. It answered questions, and then it has a really, really good setup for the next movie. Because they always do threes. So if they want to reintroduce T'Challa, now they can. And
well, we don't want to give a spoiler.
I mean, we gave a spoiler at the beginning that we're going to be talking about.
All right,
or you could edit this out.
I'm not doing that. If they're listening this far into it, they'll be like, well, I guess I don't care. Yeah. It's all over the internet anyway. So, in the comic, they stayed true to this part at the end credit scene, when after Shuri was going to see, forget her name again, but just sitting on the beach and everything, really dealing, finally going through that process of burning the garment and closing that chapter out to true time and perfection. T'Challa's son walks out. So he's supposed to be down the road Black Panther, but that's pretty far. Mm-hmm. I don't think Shuri's going to be Black Panther for long because she wasn't in the comic,
right? And
yeah,
they set it up like that. Like it was almost like a need. And then also she didn't show up at the little celebration thing, so I'm thinking that was a little bit of foreshadowing too. Like she only did it that one time because like they have that little ceremony where you challenge. But M'Baka, that's his name. M'Baka, that's it. He came and stepped out.
I think he's supposed to be king now.
I really love his character, man. Like,
yeah.
I found out when he said bald-headed demon, that was an ad-lib. Boy, I laughed so hard. We needed that comic relief in that.
Dog. April turned to me, immediately said, I'm going to call you that. Like, what? This shit was funny though.
No.
You bullheaded demon.
And he said that's what he need. Like, the movie needed those breaks of comic relief, man, because it was, or when Neymar punched him in the chest.
Hey, that's what I like about Marvel is they hit you with the balance.
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah.
mean? It's just when you be like, I need it. Oh, that's funny. Did they snap you back? You're like, oh, thank you for pulling me back into play mode. That's what I came here for.
Thank you, because that sequence was heavy, man. I was like, oh man. And thank you for the joke. Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. That lightened up the room. But yeah, so the last thing that I wanted to talk to you before we leave, before we run out of time, is since we're talking about the whole dynamic of the movie Black Panther 2 with, you have these two civilizations, minority civilizations, and the colonizers are causing discord and causing them to fight with each other, and they're looking for resources and all that stuff. The Woman King came out as well. I just saw it yesterday. It's been out in theaters for a while.
Okay.
Still in theaters, pumping. Keep going. Man, I was surprised at this movie. Wow.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah. We were surprised too. I had a feeling it was going to be good, but man.
Did you think it was going to be that good?
No. I was not prepared.
Like, damn.
Yeah.
Viola Davis. I'm like, hey, I woke up this morning. As soon as I saw April, we were talking in the kitchen. Actually, after we were awake for a while, because you just don't. Hey, how you doing? Hey, Viola Davis. So we have our lunch times downstairs, and first thing I said was, man, you better give Viola Davis an award for this thing, man. That was reminding me of when Brad Pitt was in Troy, how much I was like, I like that side of you. You do that, and all you gotta do is give a motherfucker a sword and we.
Yeah.
It was like, I want that sword, man.
Yeah.
They look tight. I'm thinking about shining up my swords last night. I was like, I need to pull these out and shine them and sharpen them up, man. God. But okay, so the movie itself. So the premise of it, Shaka Zulu, and he was, of course, king. He had his women army, a section of it, which reminded me, and I think I mentioned this while we were watching it. I was like, I wonder, because this is a historic account, not maybe so tightly as it may have been otherwise if it was a documentary, but hey, there was some substance there. They might have had a regiment with women in it. I wonder if that inspired the women army in
It did.
Black Panther. I was thinking so. It was so similar, right? So I was like, this is great. I was like, the ties in with that, and they weren't even associated. I was like, that's great. Strength that it showed. They was badasses, man. And they were trying to correct a wrong that they were. All right, here's the dynamic where I was kind of talking through for years, and when you talk about slavery, because this is a heavy part of preventing the continuance of slavery the way that it was, you realize a couple of things, and it kind of put things in like, this movie is really, really powerful in the way that it highlighted some things that we kind of knew, but they weren't explicitly saying it. All right. So slaves were sold to colonizers. You recognize I'm saying colonizers. I'm not trying to get canceled. Slaves were sold to colonizers by black villages and kingdoms some of it was brainwashing because they felt that they were a commodity. They touched on that, and they couldn't be anything else. And the other one was like, all right, if we don't go along with this, what are they going to do to me? Right?
Right.
What price am I going to pay? Because they're just going up here. And the other thing was, this is very trivial, but I was like, all right, is this how vacation spots were like started? Because, all right, hear me out. The colonizers can only go to a certain depth on whatever land they got to, right? So they can only go to they have the really nice areas right on the beach. Call it the city. They couldn't go deep into the because they get effed up, right?
Yeah.
So they had to bring these people to the colonizers, and it was very reminiscent of the market where we grew up around in Charleston, how they sold them and everything. I was like, why does this kind of look like this is how resorts were built up? Let's just wait here while they bring our resources to us or cargo, and we just live it up.
That's a good point. Whenever you go to these little, because when you think about the vacation spots where the resorts are and these islands and stuff, there's usually like poor countries. And then it always tell you don't go off, don't go too far off or don't go too deep. But it's always all, like you said, there's nice stuff on the edge. Nice stuff on the edge.
I'm just saying.
It's a good point.
Resorts.
I'm gonna have to look that. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look that up. But I think you're onto something.
I'm just saying.
You're onto something.
Very interesting.
Yeah. Because it's still going on now.
Still rampant. And so there's the west coast of Africa where they focused on, where they were Spaniards, right? I felt like they were Spaniards.
I think so. I can't remember.
So the whole, the way that they touched on it and how they didn't want to sell their own, well, they convinced them to sell their captives into slavery, which was, I guess, a means to an end, right? But they were like, we don't want to do this anymore. We got this palm oil over here, which is another way that we can generate revenue, which is a great idea. But ain't nobody want to hear that. Ain't nobody want to hear that. The Spaniards ain't want no palm oil. Nah. So they put there was two separate civilizations that were going at it again because discord, interesting how that works, right?
Yeah.
It's so easy. Just like, hey, this caused division. And the way that they tried to atone is the wrong word because you usually have to die to atone. But the way that they were trying to redeem and protect their people and changing it, that hit me so hard, man. Because I'm like, we got it. This message is about changing how the slave trade worked, but there's still dynamics in society where we still deal with right now.
Yeah,
fighting with each other about something that an outside entity started, and when we look at it, we were like, they got us again. Yep. How many people gotta die before we figure it out?
Yep. It's so crazy. I mean, when these little things happen in the grand scheme of things, like they don't really matter, but we're fighting against each other. I mean, small stuff, man, just divided. And for what? I mean, like, it's people who don't like each other, but when it comes to business, they get stuff done.
Yeah.
We have such a division to where we don't like each other. We won't even, that's it. Like, no type of business, nothing. Bump you, your family, your cousins, everybody, people who look like you. We just gonna be divided.
Yeah. Till we fall.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy, even with the dynamics of skin tone. that's still such a big divide. But I'm just like, dog, I mean,
yeah,
you're still black especially to them. So
I'm saying, and I like how you said that because the light skinned brother, he was mixed.
Yeah.
Hey, it's just like they pulled him over on the side of the road, like, hey, let me remind you.
Yeah.
Just in case you forgot.
Yep.
Because he did forget a little bit.
He did forget, and it was like, hey, hold up. Remember who your mama is now. I mean, it's just
insane. So how do you feel like some people were talking about they didn't like the dynamic that they gave Shaka Zulu, but I was like, he wasn't the focus. It was the Woman King. It's called the Woman King. It's not called Shaka Zulu and the Woman King.
I like the actor who played him, man. He was very king-like, man. All his scenes, he had that chest out, and he was like,
yeah, I like him. Vega is his last name. I can't remember his first name, but yeah, he got blackballed right before the pandemic or during something that he didn't agree with. I think
with,
he didn't want to
Star Wars.
Yeah,
something.
He didn't want to play love interest to a person of a different race, and he didn't agree.
I didn't hear that. The thing I heard was he basically outed them about how they treat black actors and stuff, and that was the thing. Now, recently, he said he only dates black women, and that was a big. Yeah,
Gotcha.
That was recent. He said that, and I'm just like, well, I mean, if a black man says he only dates black women, how's that a problem?
How is the preference a problem?
Yeah, him say thank you. He didn't say he hated other races of women. He said I only date black women, and that's crap like that. Just really, it pisses me off when people get so upset. Be like, oh, what is that? What is that supposed to mean? That just means that's my preference. That doesn't mean I hate everybody else. That's just my preference.
Yeah, I mean,
and where do we get to a point where a black man can't say he only dates black women? I don't.
Well, that's a whole nother discussion.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, man, it's like that. I mean, it's like that dynamic with a few things. Like,
yeah, it's crazy. Like you can't say you like something without people automatically assuming that means you don't like everything else because you specified one thing.
I like hamburgers. That means you don't like hot dogs?
Pretty much, yeah.
I said anything about that.
You're not even talking about hot dogs.
I'm a hamburgers, man. You just ask me if I like McDonald's or Wendy's. That's more appropriate. You go all to left field. Goddamn.
Yeah. It's ridiculous, man. But yeah, that was recent.
Yeah.
The thing about the black. But yeah, it was. He said something about how they treated black actors with the whole Star Wars thing, and they was just like, "Oh, really?" Because he was supposed to have like more of a role in the movie. And they was like, "Oh, okay, we're really gonna show you how we treat you now."
Oh man, prove the point. Yeah.
Every time.
This is funny how that works. But I'm glad that he was, when I saw him, because I forgot he was in the movie. I was like, oh snap! Look at that! Oh man, all right, this is gonna be a good movie. Because he's not in anything whack.
No,
let's just put that out there. Nothing whack.
I remember the first movie I saw him in was Attack the Block, and that was I didn't think I was gonna like that movie, but I like that movie.
Name, no.
I like that movie, man.
It's like this is another version of You Got Served, Above the Rim.
Yeah, I like that movie. Movies like Attack the Block is like it's like Goonies meets Aliens.
Yeah. He's a great actor. Pacific Rim 2.
He did a really good job in that, man.
Wasn't he in Rogue One? He was in Rogue One, wasn't he? Or am I just confusing that with
he was in
that's Forrest Whitaker, my bad.
He was in the first he was in all of them though. All of the
ones that
Jedi ones. Yeah. He was in all of those.
Glad to see him in something else.
Yeah.
But the movie, he played a really good role in the dynamic that the story they were trying to tell. Some people were saying, "Oh, they demasculated the guy." I'm like,
How?
Whatever. Yeah, it's like the story wasn't about him.
Yeah, but how? I mean, yeah, that's like you said. The story wasn't about him. So what?
He had strength. He still showed strength.
Yeah,
in the way that he led.
Yeah, he put his foot down. I mean, even with the wife who just wanted to stuff her away. Even though Viola Davis's character disobeyed.
Yeah, still was fair.
She did her thing. I mean, she eliminated this threat.
Yeah. I like the fact that he really took what she said into consideration, like, you know, that I don't know if that dynamic was really present back then.
Yeah.
But it's good how they portrayed it.
That's what I was wondering.
How the world works. I don't know if he's really like that type of, let me be an authoritarian, but not an authoritative figure. I think he just like, hey, go do that. Don't talk to me. And maybe he came back after a while and was like, oh yeah, that was a great idea. Glad I thought of it. I don't think he was that.
Yeah.
I mean, if he was, that's great. But seeing how history was with the dynamic of that, I don't know.
And it makes me want to study about them, because even with how history is and stuff with women, but you know, they were the protectors and she was the general. So
yeah,
from a military standpoint, I think that dynamic, you know, I'm just assuming that regardless if she's a woman or not, it's just that this is my general. And usually kings,
right,
they talk to, you know, the general, and they try to, hey man, what you think we should do? And you know, because it's their job to protect the king and the kingdom. Right. So, it was it was different seeing a woman in that sort of position and that sort of, because she did have power. She had control. He listened to her.
Yeah.
And that one wife was mad about that.
Ooh, she was hot. Boy, she was like, I know you ain't gonna listen to that bitch. I'm sitting right here. I put all this makeup on, and I was like, he ain't looking at her like that, man. Nah. Sit over there and chill.
And that was that was the thing about it. She was giving him something that she couldn't, because all she was just a pretty face. But he didn't talk to her about anything intellectual or any big plans or anything like that. She was some arm candy.
Yeah. So the dynamic with, I actually thought the girl that came there because she hit the dude that her dad was trying to sell it to, I thought that might have led to her being the woman king, because I like how they played it out.
I did too. That girl was.
I did not see that being Viola Davis's daughter. I did not see that.
I did not.
I was like, Ooh, and then
it explained a lot.
Then the baby daddy.
Yeah.
Oh, now you really got to kill him now.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. And he ain't even remember. So he's been doing that a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
But I like the young girl character. I like her.
Yeah.
She was like, man, she was just gonna do what she wanted to do.
That obstacle course.
Yeah.
Dog.
And she came back and got her friend
in the thorns.
Yeah, and still won.
Okay, so let me ask you something. Would you do that? Don't you lie to me.
I'm trying to think.
It's just a race now. It's not life dependent.
I'm trying to think. I mean,
I can lie. I'm sorry. If you dying, I'm coming back for you. If it's just a race,
if I had that type of cockiness, yeah. Because I think it was because I kind of felt like, you know, to be honest, it wasn't just about getting her friends, but it was also like, I'm just that good where I can do this and still win.
True.
So I think it was a little bit of both.
I think the thorns have been a deal breaker for me. Not because I didn't want to help. Damn, it's just still in my foot, man.
Hey, she already went through it. She was just like, "Hey, what's a little more gonna hurt?"
A lot. Freaking lot. That's what it's gonna hurt a lot.
Well, how much more is it gonna hurt?
Hey, after that, maybe her foot was numb. I don't know. Maybe that's what happened. You can't fuse it. Be like, oh, all right, I'll guess I'll come save you. I'm good now. But the way that all those storylines, really good writing for one thing.
Yeah, it was.
It was a lot of action, a lot of fighting.
Yeah.
Oh man. Ooh, that stunt double for Viola Davis, man. She did work. Yeah. Oh man, it reminded me of. I don't know if you watched the series C on Apple TV Plus.
That's on my list to watch. I keep hearing about it. So it's on my list.
The series is over. Binge watch it. There you go. It reminded me of a little bit of Troy. You know, the kind of the fighting, the sword play and all that, and really good choreograph fighting.
Yeah.
And the ending, I felt like it rounded out. Like the movies that we talked about on this pod really rounded the storylines out pretty well. This one rounded it out really well. And I'm like, Shaka Zulu did her a solid. She came back after, where you were saying before, he defied her, defied him, did work to save, protect, and hey, that dude deserved it. and the way that they went in and like, I don't know how much delay that it put on the whole slave trade thing. I'm sure there's some people came afterwards, but the way that they delayed the whole thing or fended the colonizers off. It was justified that she was the woman king. It was justified that she sat on the throne right by the king.
Yeah.
I think it was I ain't no feminist or anything, but I think it's a movie that all women should see, especially if you're black.
It was very inspiring, man.
That was an empowerment movie.
Yeah.
That was, yeah.
Yeah, it was, man, it was just empowering, just being black. It was just like, wow. This is
conversations to have because of that. Because again, the whole dynamic of what was happening back then is just repackaged differently, and we're doing the same thing today.
Yeah.
So where do we go? How do we fix it? Do we care enough about the culture, our people, to fight against the machine, fight the good fight, knowing that we can possibly not make it to see the fruits of our labor, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a lot of good messages, a lot of good action. I wish I went to the theater to see this. I'm kind of disappointed that I didn't. But I think Viola Davis, if she doesn't get an award for this one, which I think she is.
She has to, man. She did an outstanding job.
We gonna have Will Smith bust into the Oscars and slap all. You let her lose that nomination, boy. Let me tell you what. Hey, Will Ready, he was like, got this thing warmed up. That was just
man,
practice.
I just thought about something, man. They would, in the categories, they would probably put her against Angela Bassett.
See, that's what I'm talking about. Stop putting us against each other. I'm just kidding. That would be a tough one.
Because would you? Because Angela Bassett was a leading role.
Yeah.
So
I don't know, man. I would only give it to Viola Davis because this is so different for what she has done ever before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she needs to do more of that. I need her to fight in the whatever DC universe that she's in, because she was in Black Adam. Maybe she'd come out of the office, start whipping ass.
Yeah,
you know?
she was in Black Adam and both the Suicide Squads.
Yeah, both of them.
Yeah,
unfortunately,
suited up, just
yeah,
just not in a fighting suit, but she or business suit,
telling people off. Just looking at him with like, I don't care if you got superpowers.
Yeah,
Oh man, so movies are coming up that we're probably going to talk about later. I'm ready for Avatar. I'm not sure what to expect from that.
Yeah,
but
I'm not sure either. I'm very interested.
I'm going to see it.
How this water thing is gonna.
Yeah. You know, I wasn't a huge fan of the first one, but hey, I mean, you gotta own it for the special effects on it.
I like the first one. I saw it late. Like I saw it like maybe 2 years, probably a year or two after it came out. So I didn't go to the theater. I didn't have all the hype. One day I just watched it, and I was like, wow, this is actually pretty good. I would have probably really liked to see this probably 3D, because they were doing 3D movies big back
dope.
then. See?
I saw that opening weekend. It was dope. It hurt your face though. It was an early interpretation of what they were doing in IMAX 3D, but man, that was really good 3D.
See,
it was the one where it was the depth perception 3D, not the pop out in your face. So that was really good. Man, I tell you, what else is coming out?
That Ant-Man.
Ant-Man's next year, I think.
Oh, is that far out?
I think.
Okay. Yeah, makes sense.
Something comes out in February. Something comes out. Hey, next end part of winter and spring, there's a lot of movies coming out. I am ready for that because they showed a bunch of trailers, and man, I'm telling you, I'm about to get back in the swing of things, going to this theater again. It's been a few years. I gotta build my points.
Oh, John Wick.
Give it to
John Wick.
John Wick.
Yeah,
that's the one.
Yeah, I can't remember when it comes out, but I'm really looking forward to seeing that.
I'll be there. Yeah, that should have been released last year instead of Matrix.
Yeah.
But
I really, when I saw the first one, it was after, because when it first came out, it flew under the radar. Like nobody really, like a lot of people didn't know about it until the second one came out. It was like John Wick 2. When was the first one? But I watched it one day, just out of curiosity. I'm like, oh, it's Keanu Reeves is fighting. I watched it. I was like, really wish I saw this in the theater. This is a really good movie. Yeah. And they keep building.
Sure if I saw any of them in the theater.
They keep building so well. I saw the, how many were there? Has it been 3 already? Yeah.
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 I own all 3. Yeah.
I've seen 2 and 3 in the theaters.
It's good, man.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to 4. I'm looking forward to that. I think that was all I saw.
A lot to talk about.
Yeah. I think that was all I saw that I was really hyped about out of all the trailers, was that it's another movie that I saw on the trailer that I can't remember what it was, but it looked pretty interesting.
Well, I got to go through the YouTube channel with all the trailers that they have for different genres of movies, and I'll send them to you. We'll have to remind ourselves of that.
Yeah, okay.
But before we go, please tell people what you're working on. You got a lot of stuff going on, and we'll be out of here.
I'm almost finished with that book.
Oh, right.
My God.
Right there at the cusp.
So, at the cusp. So I realized that I'm not going to have enough time to really get it how I want it to have it out.
Yeah.
So I'm going to shoot for February.
Okay. Good month.
I should definitely be finished before the end of this month. But because when you're you got to get the proof back, and you got to look over it and make sure it's laid out how you like it, and make sure the book looks good before you actually release it. And I remember I'm like, it's Christmas time, holidays coming up, so the mail goes really slow.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
true.
it's just, yeah. If it was like a different part of the year, yeah, if it was a different part of the year, then fine. But things take too long to come, so yeah. So I'm almost finished with that. Season 2 of the Brown Sugar Cafe, the premiere will be the Monday after Thanksgiving. That's the 28th.
Boom!
28th?
Yes, sir.
Yes. With that, barbecue channel on Instagram at tdub.bbq. And I think that's it.
Oh, we're on Discord now, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah. Find us there. We want to have some conversations about the topics that we talk about and suggestions. And if you just want to find a place where you can just find all this stuff, let's go there, man. Yeah, you're doing a lot of stuff. Black Smoke Barbecue, Holla, and the rest of the guys that are in the Black Out Loud Media Group. Welcome Barry to the group. Just put that out there for the world to know. We're doing big things on this content creation side, keeping us busy, man.
Yes, it's
always great.
Yeah.
It's always great to sit down and talk to you.
Always, man. I'm glad we sat down and chopped it up.
Yeah, man. But speaking of chop it up, about to chop some food up. So before we hit that end button on this recording session, I just want to remind people that them boys said don't use the blue box to send you gift cards in the mail because they putting adhesive on water bottles and they fishing that shit out. You heard it here first. Hey, just send them an Amazon digital. Like, why are people buying gift cards?
Wait, they're doing what?
Yeah, it's a whole thing. They're putting the adhesive from rat traps on there. So yeah, the nasty motherfuckers, and they're putting it on empty water bottles. They're putting the water bottle into the bins where you're supposed to put your mail in, and then whatever comes up, wow, taking it. And you know, people put a bunch of cards and gift cards and this stuff. So yeah. So hey, send Cash App,
or just go inside the post office,
or Zelle them. Something. It's a big market.
Wow.
People don't spend all the money on them gift cards anyway. Just Zelle them or something, man.
Wow.
Just be safe.
Thank you for saying that. I mean, when we do mail stuff, we go inside the post office, but I'm definitely going inside the post office now.
Yeah. And,
Wow.
Just don't get got this season. Until next time, people. Didn't say we didn't tell you. Peace.
Peace.
Shout out to Atlanta. Yeah. City that pays me. Relax yourself, let your conscience be free. You're now rolling with a dude named MAV. Relax yourself, let your conscience be free. You're now rolling with a dude named MAV. Relax yourself, let your conscience be free. You're now rolling with a dude named MAV. Relax yourself, let your conscience be free. You're now rolling with a dude named MAV. I'm killing the flow. Didn't you know? I'm killing the flow. Didn't you know? Relax yourself, let your conscience be free. You now rolling with a dude named